I'm Anna, and this is my new life story. So I grew up in a home where I was in church 3 times a week. I had family devotions at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, depending. So I was always kind of around that environment, and I did accept Christ, and I was baptized at a very young age. On the flip side of that coin, I also grew up in a home where things were not as they seemed, and they were not okay inside my home. And so it was very difficult for me to process as a child going to church and hearing about God and all these other things happening at home. And that led to feeling like, does God really care about me? And feeling a certain amount of anger and resentment at God and in some ways at the church. So I ran away from home when I was 17, and I didn't have anybody to fall back on. So I had always felt like I was really abandoned, and that really led to needing to be able to depend on myself and not having a safety net. And so because I was a single parent and had no safety net, it was really I had to achieve and do better and better and better because there wasn't anybody that was gonna catch me if something went wrong. And the turning point was really, I always intended after graduate school to go back to work for the military, but I didn't. I, in a very unplanned way, ended up working in disaster recovery. And so in that work, I was in all these cities and countries and around people that were just broken, so broken. And because of what I was seeing, it really became impossible for me to not say I need a different kind of relationship with God, because everything around me was just so completely broken and chaotic all the time. And so that was a really huge turning point to me seeking God in a different way and really pursuing a different kind of relationship with Him, because I had to believe that there was He had created this world that I was working in even when it was broken, and He had walked on water and had calmed storms, and that I needed that peace and calmness in so many unknowns that I had to. And so that was the biggest turning point, I think, for me. So I first came to New Life last October 2021. I moved back to Kansas City in January of 2021, but I was deployed for work over and over and over last year, and so I didn't really try to find a church that much. But in October, I took a job transfer that allowed me to not travel as much, and so I just thought, well, okay, I'm gonna put down roots, and it's time to find a church, and I'm finally gonna be somewhere where I can do that. And I attended a few churches around Kansas City, but I had Googled community churches or something like that, and New Life was the one that always would come up in the top 3 hits or whatever. And it was really important to me to find a church that was part of kind of my community fabric and the fabric of my hometown. And so when New Life first started talking about the Development Academy, I thought it sounded really interesting, but I also sort of thought to myself, it's a church doing a partnership with a seminary, and that's way too spiritual for Saturday mornings. But I signed up because I'm very curious, and it was a good way for me to kind of put together faith building blocks in a way that I didn't get in my childhood, and in a way I hadn't really gotten ever since. And I'm really glad I did it, because it's exactly that. It's a good way to put together blocks of church history and faith that I maybe haven't thought about or haven't put together. And it's also a space where I can ask questions, and there's people here to talk about it with week in and week out, and I've had a lot of fun doing it.